Technical problem. Try tak boleh masuk. Okay, everybody there? 23, okay. So now it's regarding drowning and near drowning. It's very common. Once in a while you might come across. You should know how to differentiate between drowning, near drowning, and other terminology. So this is the terminology by WHO. The drowning is a process of experiencing respiratory impairment from submersion or immersion or in liquid. The drowning process is a continuum beginning with respiratory impairment as the victim airway goes below the surface of the liquid. This is called as submersion. When the water splashes over the face, this is immersion. If the victim is rescued at any time, the process of drowning is interrupted. And this is called as non-fatal drowning. But if patient die at any time, this is called as fatal drowning. So any submersion or immersion incident without evidence of respiratory impairment should be considered as a water rescue and not a drowning. So we become confused now, okay? Water rescue or drowning. So drowning can be non-fatal, so that means patient survive, or patient die, so this is a fatal drowning. But if patient is actually is drowned, okay, but there's no respiratory impairment, no respiratory impairment at all, so this is not considered as drowning. So sometimes you be confused in the ND, okay, patient that is history of immersion, okay, in the river or whatever place, but there is no respiratory impairment. But sometimes you don't know whether it's respiratory impaired or not. And then when patient was brought to A&E, okay, by friend or by parents, but it's no sign of respiratory impairment at all. But at the time, okay, at the site where that happened, it might be some respiratory impairment. So now how you want to classify this patient? Whether it's a drowning or non-fatal drowning. Now, of course, drowning, that means fatal, okay? Non-fatal drowning, so fatal drowning, patient died. Non-fatal, or this is just a water rescue and not drowning. So it's very difficult. So therefore, I think in the easier way how to memorize this one, we still need to follow the old terminology rather than this new terminology. Many people confused regarding terminology. So there are other terminology other than drowning, neo drowning. Also, you have a dry or wet drowning, and then secondary drowning, and then another terminology, active and passive drowning, and delay onset or respiratory distress. I think for you, okay, to me it's easy, just know few terminology ni. Okay, drowning and near drowning. Drowning means condition when the victim inhale or ingested water through his or her respiratory tract or alimentary tract. And then patient die occur within 24 hours due to suffocation. So this is drowning. Near drowning means patient nearly die from drowning, but patient survive for more than 24 hours. So this near drowning. Drowning means patient die due to suffocation. Near drowning, patient survive more than 24 hours. So this near drowning. So easy to remember. So this is the WHO. Hey, why disturbance? So maybe because of keyboard, not keyboard, the mouse. Okay, it's worldwide. Okay, about 400,000 patients die because of drowning, and more than half actually those who age more than less than 35 years old. Ayo, mouse tak ada pula. Okay, approximately 22 died due to drowning occur in every hour. So every day there is a case of drowning. And each hour you will found about 42 dead due to drowning worldwide. Quite a lot, is it? Maybe one other in Malaysia of this 42 in 1 hour every day. And because this drowning quite often occur in the undeveloped country or low or moderate income countries. So apparently that the numbers of deaths is higher among malnourished patient or unwell patient. And because male more active than female, so they are outside of the house, so the number of male is actually higher than female or girl. And in other country, apparently alcohol is the one of the common risk factor for the drowning and also near drowning. And in some country, this drowning is actually included in 10 leading cause of death among the 10 leading cause of death in a certain country. But in our country, drowning is actually after 20 numbers, okay, not within the 10 numbers leading cause of death, because it's not so common in our country. So this is one area where you may see a case of drowning. So this area, this boy is actually this boy stay in the house like Sabah and Sarawak. There's no proper house. Their house is actually at the sea, okay, on the sea. So they may drown because of that. But quite often the boy there, they can swim. But the boy who stay in the town, okay, they cannot swim. So if they go to these places, if they fell down, they cannot swim. The chances of drowning is high compared to the boys who stay in this area. But apparently the numbers of drowning is high among in this area, this boy area. The second common reason of die because of drowning is because of immigrant. Okay, like Malaysia, also people from Indonesia try to migrate here at Sabah, at the Sabah area. People from Philippines try to cross and enter Malaysia. And then at the northern area, Penang, Kedah place, okay, Myanmar, Rohingya, they try to cross, enter this, okay. And then they might die because of the fell down, or maybe the boat too small, but the numbers of passengers is more than what's supposed to be, and then the boat will sinking and people will be drowned. So okay, so in Malaysia, high incident of drowning in Kelantan, Terengganu, followed by Pahang, and then followed by Labuan and Kedah. So why? Because this area, one of the reason is there is a number of beach in this area. So the east coast is very long, the beach. So more people come, okay, to this area, and then they get drowned. Okay, especially if they come not in the appropriate time, So during the monsoon, November, December, January, where the current is very heavy. And then there is a red flag, okay, at the beach, but people buat tak kisah still mandi, okay, after that they get drowned. So very common. So in this area, Terengganu, Kelantan, Pahang. So maybe also in Labuan and also in Perlis or Kedah. So in other area not so much. So the causes of, okay, one of us suicide. Once a while you might heard about people committed suicide. So they go to the bridge. After that they jump to the river. Can be a Sungai Kelang, can be a so bridge at Pulau Pinang punya bridge. Okay, they jump from the bridge, suicide. And then swimming at the pool, but usually this one more for children's. Okay, maybe the parent not aware. Okay, and then they got drowned. River, You go for fishing, maybe you go for something else at the riverside, and then suddenly you sleep, and after that you get drowned. Beach is common during the monsoon in this area, East Coast. Sometimes you go for swimming in the lake, in the dam, waterfall. So for those area without a good proper water supply, okay, they might have a pond there, okay, for their water supply. So they might drown in the pond. And then mining pool also common. Okay, once a while, okay, old mining pool, old tasik, old dam. So you just go there and then you have a swimming there, or maybe you want to try to fishing in this area, and then they not train how to swim. They know how to swim, and then they get drowned. Sometimes because of the pasir sedut in the mining pool. Okay, because of this pasir sedut, even train people. Okay, like I think last year, early this year or last year, the fireman get drowned dekat mana? Try to find out, okay, through the find out the body, and then they also get drowned because of the pasir sedut. I can't remember in this place. Quite recent also. The end of last year or this year. You can find out in the internet. Firemen get drowned. Try to this one. Okay, this is because pasir sedut. And then fed from road, I will show you just now the picture. And sometimes, okay, small children drown at the bathtub once a while. And then fall during boating, fishing in the month of November to January in the East Coast. People with epilepsy, okay, advise not to go to the beach, but still go to there. Maybe they want to go to waterfall like that, and then get epileptic attack. After that, they don't drown it to the area, to the waterfall or to the beach. Fall at the sewer, river and canal. Occasionally we came across the kind of cases. Pekerja alam flora, for example, okay, say fell down, okay, to the sewer or river or canal, especially the deep one. So this is the incident, okay, in Malaysia. So in year 2017, total dead 400, quite high. 2018 January to August, 300. So about around 400 per year. Dead due to drowning in Malaysia. It's quite considered high. Maybe okay, Pang, okay, one of the area, okay, state involved. So this is the place where they get drowned in Malaysia. Beach, most common is from the beach. In each year, come on from beach. So if beach, that means Sabah, means Kelantan, Terengganu and Pahang. Followed by sewer, and then river and canal also quite high. River and canal in Malaysia. So this is in river canal usually Kedah, Pahang, Kelantan. And then others are lake, dam, pond and mining pool. Larry from the waterfall. Rapid fall, the water. So main conservation actually from river and canal. River, Sabah, Sarawak. So this is the circumstances of accidental drowning in Australia. Again, male more than female. Slightly different from pattern from Malaysia kat Australia. So Australia more from fell or wander into the water, followed by swimming, paddling or wading. This is different from Malaysia. So there are two types of drowning. One is wet drowning. Second is dry drowning. What is the difference between wet and dry? Wet, when patient inhale the water inside the lung. and the lung cannot exchange the gas properly, and therefore the breathing and circulation stop. This is wet drowning. Dry drowning, there is no water enter the lung. But actually, the reason is because of the immediate spasm of the upper airway. As a result of this spasm of airway of the upper airway, and then there's no water can enter the lung. But patient arrested because of the no oxygen. So therefore, patient develop respiratory arrest followed by cardiac arrest. So this is rare. Dry drowning is only occur in less than 10% or maybe less than 20%. So more common in still wet drowning. So that means they inhale and the water into the lung, as well as it might be also ingested, okay, the water in their GIT tract. So this is a wet drowning. So wet drowning is still more common compared to dry drowning. So okay, this is the differences between dry and wet drowning. So wet drowning also called as a primary drowning. Secondary drowning, post-immersion syndrome or near drowning. Okay, near drowning. So confused lah. You nak pakai wet drowning, dry drowning, and then secondary drowning. So bit confused. So now you should know two je important. Near drowning dengan drowning. Drowning, patient die. Near drowning, patient survive. So from that, it might be primary, might be dry, might be wet, might be primary, might be secondary. So you just forget about that, okay? But the one thing you need to know about the secondary drowning is actually the post-immersion syndrome is there. So that means near drowning, patient survive, patient not die, there will be a changes, okay, in chemical and biological in your lung because of that near drowning. So especially if patient you undergo resuscitation, there is a abnormality in the lung and survive more than 24 hours or 24 more than hours. So because of hypoxia, that might some brain damage, patient may end up with permanent brain damage, and then patient macam stroke, bedridden, cannot see, cannot hear. Because of electrolyte imbalances, okay, patient may develop cardiac arrest. After that, you need to resuscitate and patient survive. Because of pulmonary edema, that may be a pulmonary injury, and then that may be hemoglobinuria because of hemolysis. This is especially in patient with fresh water. You have a salt water and fresh water. Salt water, that means near drowning at the sea. Fresh water in the river, in the pond, so in the dam. Because of the fresh water, it causes hemodilution, and then patient develop hemolysis and then hemoglobinuria. So it's more common in the fresh water than salt water. And then patient also may develop chemical pneumonitis, especially if patient drown in the river or pond contaminated with some chemical, can cause chemical pneumonitis. Even in the sea also, patient may develop chemical pneumonitis because of concentrated salt. Chemical pneumonitis. So there's a difference between primary and secondary. Primary drowning, secondary drowning. Yeah, so immersion syndrome. So another consequences of drowning. This is because of the sub-immersion. The secondary drowning, you have the problem that one because of immersion. Kalau sub-immersion, this patient might have immersion syndrome. What is immersion syndrome? The water enter the ear, the water enter the stomach, okay, and they also enter the nasal passage. So as a result of this, what happened? So the stomach might be bloated, may cause other problem. And then because of this, okay, I cannot breathe. And then what happened? Because waggle inhibition. As a result of this vagal inhibition, patient develop cardiac arrest and death. So this is different, immersion and subimmersion. So two mechanism. One is laryngospasm. Second, because of the water enter all the airway and so on can cause vagal inhibition. And then cause a cardiac arrest. So this is a mechanism of death and injury. So this is pathophysiology, and you can read this one, but the most important is this one. How long that patient can survive following the drowning. So if the drowning only occur within 5 minutes, so 90% of patient will survive without neurological damage. If the immersion is occur or drowning occur 5 to 10 minutes, the likely to survive is 45% without neurological damage. Okay, so it's very important. If you survive but neurological damage and then become bedridden, kena wheelchair and so on, okay, so we be a trouble. So therefore, the timing is very important. Whether there's any neurological damage or without neurological damage, if patient survive. So depend on the time. Less than 5 minutes, within 5 minutes, 90% non-neurological damage. 5 to 10 minutes, 44% without neurological damage. 10 to 35 minutes, 12% without neurological damage. So if more than 35%, if they survive, the chances of neurological damage is already there, 100%. So timing is very important. So when you want to solve it, okay, patient, okay, also is very important. Let's say there is a drowned case at the beach, and how fast you can help them. So you reach patient, and then you manage to bring to the seaside within 20 minutes. So the chances of neurological damage is how many percent? About 80%, maybe more than 80%. So let's say you manage to do a CPR, bring back the circulation, and then patient breathing, okay? After that, you send this patient to hospital, maybe may or may not require ventilation, okay, machine to support. Let's say the lung, you manage to already able to remove, okay, some of the fluid from the lung after you do a chest compression. Okay, maybe patient did not require support, respiratory support. The blood gas is good, okay, but patient already hypoxic more than 20 minutes. So likely this patient have a neurological deficit, damage about 80%. So patient may have some neurological problem after discharge from hospital. So timing also very important. So this is pathophysiology. Drowning victim become panic, struggle, and attempt to hold their breath. This okay. This is the reason why when you drown and then you develop this panic, struggle, attempt to hold their breath. Actually, they began to swallow water, and then patient vomited or aspirated, and then develop laryngospasm. As a result of that, patient may be develop seizure, especially children. Patient hypoxic, finally patient die. This is dry drowning. So this is when you struggle. Therefore, when you get drowned, okay, don't panic, don't struggle, relax. And then after that, if you can swim, and then sometimes people also they train can swim, and yet when they drown, they panic. This will happen. So this is the pathophysiology, okay, subimmersion. The critical period is 3 to 5 minutes. So what happened? There is involuntary gasping, and then there will be aspiration of water into the hypopharynx, and then the patient develop laryngospasm due to a parasympathetic mediated. So in wet draining, so 80 to 90% will be aspirated. Dry drowning 10 to 20%. Okay. However, both, okay, whether it's wet, whether it's dry, they will develop hypoxemia. After that, develop material organ effect. So this is the vicious cycle. Okay, what happened? After you get drowned, there's a reduction in the oxygen tension. There will be capillary dilatation. There will be capillary stasis. There will be capillary engorgement. There will be stasis of blood in the organ. There will cause venous return to the heart, reduce in the pulmonary blood flow, reduce in the oxygenation in the lung, and then present apaxia. So this is a vicious cycle. As long as you did not attempt to recover the patient, and then they will continue apaxia. Vicious cycle. So wet drowning, whether in the salt or whether in the fresh water, what happened? 1 to 3 ml per kg water aspirated will handle the gas exchange. It's very important. Gas exchange occur. If 1 to 5 ml per kg, so let's say you are 50 kg and then 1 ml. So that means you aspirated 50 ml. Let's say your weight is 50 kg. You aspirated, okay, 1 ml. So that means about 50 ml. You aspirated 50 ml of water will impact the gas exchange process already. So it's very important, a small amount. So you inhale like that, okay, one breathing. So how many ml of water will enter your lung? So it may be